Check it out, Casperr!
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Casperr here, and welcome to the A part of the Q&A, questions and answers. So, we had a load of questions. I got no idea how long this video is going to take. I'm going to answer all the decent ones. A few things came up twice, so apologies if you asked a question, but someone else's name comes up. They asked it first. I did actually say that joke questions were welcome, but I got to be honest with you guys, some of the jokes that you came up with were really poor. So here's your honourable mention of the worst jokes that I was given. There's a couple of good ones though, so we will get to those. So anyway, let's get straight into it. We got a question here from Spencer Putis who says, what's your favourite Overwatch hero and what are your favourite skins? Well, the hero in Overwatch I'm having the most fun with at the moment is probably Lucio. He's the sort of AoE healer guy. He can move pretty well and he can climb walls and stuff like that. And my favourite skins, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the skins. I think most of what Farah's got looks pretty cool. Not that I play her loads, but she's got the coolest looking skins. Skatel wants to know how old I am. I am 24 years old, and my favourite character other than Spy in Team Fortress 2 to play is probably the Pyro. I have the most fun playing Pyro. It's sort of one of the classes which I personally find easy, and when I just want to sort of mess around without trying too hard, Pyro's what I pick. Alex Smith asks me if I'm going to Australia, ideally Adelaide. And unfortunately, Alex, I've got absolutely no plans to go to Australia, so definitely not Adelaide. I've never done a fan meetup, and with 15,000 subscribers, a fan meetup's probably not going to be a particularly exciting event, especially not in Australia, where there's probably not too many people who are interested in meeting me. So I'm assuming that's why you were asking anyway. No plans. Lucas asks, if I had to remove one class from Team Fortress, what would it be? Well, incidentally, the least consequential class to remove would probably be the Pyro. He doesn't really fulfill a particular role, so taking him out would, get rid of a little bit of utility, but it wouldn't make a big difference. Other than that, I might remove Engineer, because he makes a massive difference, which is not really necessary. And if you're playing in a pub, a really shit Engineer can hold back a whole team if they're not coordinated, as where in competitive games, only a small amount of coordination can take out a sentry gun, so get rid of it. Dog Diggity wants to know, will I ever do challenges? Well, yeah, probably will. Why don't you leave me a challenge in the comment now, and maybe there'll be a video on it soon. Here's one of those joke questions. It's not actually a question, so you sort of misunderstood what I meant by joke questions, but it is a joke. Your mother's so fat, when she took the teleporter, she telefragged the entire server. That's quite funny. That is quite funny. Okay asks, do I craft stuff? The only thing I craft is spy hats. I build up full refined, I build a spy token, and I try and craft a spy hat. I want to get every single spy hat with my name on it. It's going to take a long time. Reese asks me, what grade did I get in my GCSE Welsh? Now, GCSE is the exams you do when you're 16 in the UK, and Welsh is the language of my country, Wales. And I got a D, which is a fail. In fact, it's the only GCSE I failed. We've got a few questions here from Foxy Bingo. How did I get into Team Fortress 2? I bought the orange box because it had Portal in it, and my friend had played Portal, and he was like, this game's awesome. And it was. I really liked it. So I bought that, and just played the orange box, and played Team Fortress 2, which came with the orange box, and I played Half-Life, and I just carried on playing it, basically. What are my hobbies outside of gaming? Making videos. If I had to choose Nutella or Aldi's Own, it would obviously be Nutella. And what defines a good game for you? There's so many factors that can go into what makes a game good. Uniqueness is often something that makes a game good, something that gives you a unique experience which in other games can't give you, I suppose. But ultimately, every game is unique in its own way, so I don't know. Loads of text here from Green Keymon. Essentially, he's asking me, do I think that Valve's are jerks by not giving free-to-play stuff that pay-to-plays get? I'm not really unsure what your logic is here. If somebody pays for it, then they deserve more. To be honest, I don't like free-to-play as a gaming price model anyway. I'd say get rid of free-to-play games. Now, if you do want to talk about good free-to-play models, then Team Fortress is probably one of the best ones. You can get the same amount of weapons, the same actual competitive advantage, I guess you could call it, by having different weapons in Team Fortress as a free-to-play as you could as a pay-to-play. You've got no advantage other than cosmetics of being a paid player. So maybe you've misunderstood that, to be perfectly honest. Or maybe I've misunderstood your question, but no, Valve aren't jerks at all in that respect. Ricardo asks me, what would I be doing if I hadn't started YouTube? Well, I'd probably be doing much the same as what I'm already doing, because I do work full-time as a web developer. I don't make any money off YouTube. This is just a hobby. So I'd just be playing probably more video games in the times that I typically edit videos. What class in TF2 and Overwatch do you hate or don't like? I don't really like the engineer. I guess if I had to pick, I mean, engineer is fine. But if I had to pick my least favourite in terms of playing against or even playing, it would probably be engineer. And there's a lot of problems with Overwatch right now. Widowmaker needs a balance. McCree needs a balance. I really don't like May's primary fire. The fact that anything that can freeze a player in the spot and make them unable to fight back is a pointless, ridiculous mechanic. I don't know how it made it into a final production game. So I'm hoping that that changes as well. What do I do for a living? Asked Chess Kid. I mentioned that earlier. I am a web developer. I work for a company. I'm not freelance or anything. And therefore I develop websites. My favourite hat. Well, if you take a look at my top 10, don't know which side it will be, so I'll just point like this. My top 10 spy hats video. My favourite class is spy, and I talk about my favourite spy hat, so that's probably my favourite hat overall. And my least played class is probably heavy. I can't read your name, but you ask, why am I playing spy? I don't really know. I just I used to play all the classes and a nice variety, and I just found myself gravitating towards spy more. I guess it was the class which I was having the most fun with. And it's probably because it's the most unique in terms of what you won't find in many other video games. And that's what probably kept on drawing me to it. I'm not particularly good at aiming with my mouse. I'm an okay shooter, as most people who've watched my spy commentaries will be able to attest. So being a class where aiming isn't as essential is probably another thing that kept me going. My favourite weather, I guess, is the sun, but I like a good variety. I listen to punk rock music. The bands I'm listening to at the moment is going to make me sound like a proper hipster because you've probably not heard of most of them, but Neck Deep, Heart Sounds, Moose Blood, Trash Boat. Google them. And what do I think about Russia? Not talking about the politics. Well, other than the politics, I don't know much about Russia, so I don't have many thoughts on it. Ged2 wants to know if I'm going to give free items to you. And to be perfectly honest, I think giveaways are more of a reward rather than a encouragement to come to my channel, so I will reward you guys in due time. I don't have a wife and I don't have any children, but I do have a girlfriend of 5 years nearly. I'm looking for a house together right now, so no more money. Have I ever played in a real competitive league? Yes, I played in UGC and ETF2L in Highlander. I also subbed on some Sixers teams. You can see all my medals here. Nothing great. Middle of the road, I guess you could say I was. As we know, my favourite class is the Spy Pratesh. And why? We sort of talked about that earlier, really. There's no necessary reason that I picked the Spy. Just the class I ended up having the most fun with. Quarry here, and I stream regular. Trying to make a joke, but in deciding to ask me, have I travelled much? And I haven't, to be honest. I've been on holiday out of the UK a few times to France and Spain, and I went to Holland once when I was younger. But other than that, I haven't travelled a lot, so I would love to go further afield, maybe Asia or Japan, somewhere like that. Or maybe even the USA. Unreal Nightmare, we've already talked about Spy, but he also wants to know, how did I decide doing YouTube, and how did I get my YouTube name? Well, I just made a few Spy Frag videos out of competitive clips I had, and I got a few subscribers from them, and a few views and comments and stuff like that. And I liked engaging with it, so I made a few more videos, and eventually I decided, you know what, I'm enjoying doing this, I want to make this a full-on, proper hobby, where I do at least a video a week. Casperr, I just picked the name because I like the name. Unfortunately, it's not my real name. My real name is James. And yeah, I just picked it because it's essentially the reason. This guy is a bigot. Ryan wants to know, what's my first ever Team Fortress 2 hat? Probably going to be the Gibbous, really. Or one of the achievement hats. I think Gibbous was the only achievement hat at the time, actually, so it's almost definitely the Gibbous. Jazz wants to know what I think about Overwatch killing Team Fortress 2. I've done a whole video on this, but the sort of summary is, the only thing that's going to kill TF2 is if the developers stop paying attention to it. Which is a genuine worry. We talked about my real name a moment ago. My favourite food, I really like strawberries. I also like bacon. Thank you very much for being a stream viewer. If I had unlimited keys, I probably wouldn't have too much different from what I've already got. I might buy a No Mercy and a La Party Phantom with... In fact, I'd probably buy every No Mercy effect, every La Party Phantom effect, and then I'd have a couple of normal hats to double unusual with them. Vrect wants to know, if I wasn't playing Spy or Soldier, what class would I play? I don't really know. As I said earlier, I play quite a lot of Pyro. So maybe I play Pyro a bit more. Demo Man, perhaps. Who knows? Nemo! The Fifth Force, another stream regular, asks, what do I think matchmaking is most in need of at the moment? Essentially, it needs to come out of beta. I mean, the principles are there. It joins people in a match, and they fight against each other. But the problem right now is that there's hardly anybody playing it because it's in a beta phase with hardly any participants. So they need to open that up to more people, and then they can actually get proper ranks in place. Because right now, it's basically everybody against everyone, no matter how good they are. Rubik QPC wants to know when we're doing the next interview with a class. He thinks they're extremely funny, thank you very much. The Heavy is going to be the next one, but I don't know when, I'm afraid. Nemo! Stop crying like that. Okay, Nemo's decided to join us now. Oh, no, you don't want to? Okay. Atty asks, what is best, penis butt or penis butt? Frost asks a couple of questions that have already been asked, but when did I start playing Team Fortress 2? Well, I think I got the game in 2009 or 2008. I'll show you a picture of my Merc badge and tell you the first day that I played. Here's an actual good joke from Zhao. What did the Heavy say when he saw the spy with the bicycle? I see spy! Andy asks how much money have I spent in Team Fortress 2 and what's the most expensive purchase. I've only bought keys. I think I've only ever bought keys. And I've probably spent about $50 to $60 on keys, maybe. Stacko asks what I do when I'm not inside my house. Well, that's typically when I'm in work. Crazy wants to see all the skins I've got in Overwatch. Best thing to do is watch my unboxing video, because that's pretty much all the good skins that I got during that video. Gamesters asked a few questions, another stream regular, thank you very much. How long have I been doing YouTube? Well, I started at the start of 2015, properly. I've been doing a few videos before that. Wants to know if I'm going to be making any videos on Mirage's Catalyst. Maybe. I don't really know what I could do that would entertain the majority of my viewers. I don't have a lot of free time outside of making YouTube videos, going to work and doing actual just gaming for fun. One of my favourite videos is probably this Ultimate Guide to Team Fortress 2. It's one where I put in like some more creative editing. So please check that out. It's one of, as I just said, one of my favourite videos that I've produced. So hopefully you'll like it too. Sean wants to know trading tips. I'm not a very frequent trader. So essentially, make sure you price check everything that you buy. And you know, if possible, you get it for underprice. And then everything you sell, make sure you sell it for over the price. A Million Guns wants to know my favourite weapons for each class. I get asked this sort of thing quite often, but ultimately changing weapons in Team Fortress 2 is a critical part of the gameplay. So I wouldn't say there is like a weapon you should always stick to. Saying that, I do have a top 5 Team Fortress weapons coming out soon, so watch out for that, which will give you sort of insight into my thoughts on this sort of thing. Temporal thinks that my Max's head was donated to me. Not true at all. I don't get any donations. I get the occasional donations while I'm streaming of Team Fortress items, but honestly, I'd rather you kept your stuff. I actually bought the Max's head by selling my unusual that I unboxed in my unboxing video. Wono, I'd love to visit Japan. I don't know why. It seems like a really cool culture. And I'm also thinking of going to Greece soon because it's sunny. Need more mushrooms? I'm not going to show you my rarest pepe because you'll steal it. And then it wouldn't be rare anymore. A-levels are what you do after your GCSEs in the UK. And I did psychology, business studies, and computing. I liked them all, to be honest. I guess business was my favourite. Mouse wants to know if I've done any cool websites and how I feel about programming. I've done Splatooniverse.com, which is a Splatoon map rotation website. You can check that out if anybody who plays Splatoon still watches me. I am a front-end web developer, so I typically focus on user experience and that sort of thing when it comes to website visuals. But I do also like to do a lot of interactivity as well, so I'm a bit of both sides there. It's Surata wants to know, is it still raining on England? And I would tell you, if I actually lived there. Nightcap wants to know what's my next series after my Super Mario Sunshine series. I haven't decided yet. I'd love to do Spyro the Dragon, but it's really difficult to get that on your computer, on an emulator. PlayStation emulators are much more tricky than the Dolphin one I've got for GameCube. I might try and record my PlayStation 2, but it might look awful. Other than that, I potentially will do a Tony Hawk's game, Tony Hawk's 2, or maybe Tony Hawk's Underground. So keep an eye out for that, but it's probably a little while away. Cuddlepuff wants to know why my voice is so cute. Well, I'm flattered you'd say that. And that's just the way it ended up. Professor Sycamore asks, would I want to see a TF2 show on Adult Swim? Personally, I'm not into those sort of cartoons, so it wouldn't interest me. But I guess it would be a cool thing. Crazy8 wants to know if I'm going to make more Overwatch tutorials. I definitely am. In fact, I've got 2 which are almost completed as we speak. But I'm as new to Overwatch as anyone else, and I didn't get into the beta, so I'm not exactly full of knowledge to share. But I'm going to do the best that I can. And I just realised that that was the last question. So it's about 20 minutes on the recording. Once I've cut everything else, this is probably about 15 minutes. So thank you everyone who stuck to the 15 minutes of me answering your questions. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Leave a challenge for me down below, like a gameplay challenge in Team Fortress or Overwatch. And obviously you'll get a shout out and if I end up doing that challenge. And here's a couple of other videos I've done. New videos every Tuesday and Thursday. And thanks everybody for watching.